Paige Spiranac is a former Division I and pro golfer who has taken her talents into modeling, appearing in commercials for betting company PointsBet, and has become a YouTube star with her Q&As and swing tutorials on the course, which includes a bevy of how-tos to help your game. As some know, the Savannah Bananas baseball team has been a hit, showing a different, more fun side to the sport of baseball. One thing Spiranac called out was this: it was not a knock on the Bananas, nor their approach in entertaining the masses at their games. It was the double standard. Men who freely show off what they have without any retribution whatsoever. In fact, they were applauded for it. Spiranac simply shined a light on an issue many women face that the masses hardly give any thought to. Paige would include the video and write, "Interesting how different the reaction is online when men choose to show off their bodies. Not one comment on this video calling them attention whores or sluts. Just a ton of women saying baseball is now their favorite sport, but those same women harshly judge me. The hypocrisy, LOL." Paris Helinsky, a golfer herself, came to Spiranac's defense on the Par 3 podcast with J.R. Smith.
I don't really understand all the hate towards her. Like, Paige played college golf at San Diego State. I think she was really good. Like, she almost won a national title.
Oh, okay.
So Paige is actually a very good golfer. I don't know where that misconception comes from, where these girls all of a sudden can't play golf because they're in a different lane than professional golf. I don't know. I like a lot of them. They're really cool people. And I mean, they're just kind of in their own like world, you know, they're not trying to play pro golf. They're just doing their own thing, which I think is cool.
Spiranac has received backlash many times over. When she did a tutorial on her TikTok on how to hit a certain golf shot, one commenter left the following: "This is so insulting to men. Don't toy with our love of golf. You're beautiful, yes, but you don't need to be overt. Dress proper and you'd still be hot." She'd reply, "There's a lot going on in the world that should bother you and offend you. Boobs ain't one of them." It also seems like women just can't win on the subject.
Female athletes are standing against the revealing uniforms that they're frequently required to wear when they compete, and that includes the Olympic Games. The German women's gymnastics team didn't wear bikini costumes, instead chose these full body suits. Perfectly legal and acceptable. They're calling it a statement against the sport's sexualization. And it follows Norway's beach handball team that was fined almost $1,800 for improper clothing at the European Championship Games. Now, they wore these fetching shorts, very similar, and I imagine they meet the same requirements as the men's, no more than 4 centimeters below the knee, instead of bikini bottoms. The singer Pink is offering to pay their fines. I'm very proud of the Norwegian female handball team protesting what she called the sexual rules about their uniform, adding the European Handball Federation should be fined for sexism.
When Daniil Medvedev contests a decision, yells at the chair umpire, throws his racket, complains, he's viewed as fiery and spirited and competitive. Yet when Serena Williams does the same thing, she is viewed as petulant. She's viewed as a B word. She's viewed as a sore loser. When Simone Biles withdrew from the Olympics, citing mental health concerns, she was viewed as unpatriotic and soft. Yet when Novak Djokovic does the same for the Olympics, it's, oh, too bad he's hurt.
I think that men kind of get a pass if they never played the sport, which a lot of men who are in the industry have never played varsity anything. I think women are expected to, for some reason, to have played every single sport that they discuss. Otherwise, they can't possibly know what they're talking about. So it's always that. I think that when you are a woman and, you know, people will always go ahead and say that you're there to fill a quota, you know, you're just eye candy. And then if you're a black woman, it's, you know, you're there to fill a quota when it comes to race and things like that, and status quos and all that. So I feel like it's compounded, but I think that the world is changing and the world of sports is changing, and I love that there are more women in this industry than ever before.
Ashley Nicole Moss also gave some insights into the world of sports and the double standards that exist. The UFC has seen some phenomenal athletes grace the octagon. Anderson Silva, Chael Sonnen, Chuck Liddell, John Jones, BJ Penn, GSP. Yet when women wanted to be a part,
When are we going to see women in the UFC, man?
Never.
Anytime soon? Never?
Never.
it would take years to overturn this. BYU's Bryn Turner would write in 2022, though the coverage is meager. Major media platforms that do cover women's athletics often tend to depict female athletes through a lens of traditional feminine values like motherhood, beauty, grace, and aesthetics. A 2018 study in Body Image found female Olympic athletes featured in SI issues are most often posed in ways unrelated to their sport, i.e., posed, facing the camera, smiling, tight clothing. For contrast, the magazine portrayed male athletes predominantly in action with their sport or training, highlighting their endurance and strength. Other international research found that female athletes were often photographed in passive poses compared to the active poses of male athletes. Now, from a broadcasting perspective, the biases are still there. ESPN is starting to show more and more women's college basketball games, and the viewership is very high. So it is silencing the detractors year after year. For Spiranac, the message is simple. This is something that continues happening, and I'm going to shine a light on it. Just don't shoot the messenger.